Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We will call the January 11th meeting of the Common Council to order, and I will ask our clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Rote.
Here.
Stefanski. Here. Tenorio.
Here.
Vitale. Here. Weigel.
Here.
Grisham.
Excused.
Haas.
Here.
Keen. Here. Lysick.
Here.
Reinke.
Here.
9 present, 1 excused.
A quorum is present. Please rise if you are able and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led this evening by Alderman Dan Rote.
Thank you, Mayor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moving to item D, would normally be public hearings, but we have none on our agenda this evening, so we will go right to item E, which is citizen participation. This is when the council may receive information from the members of the public. We have a half an hour set aside for this part of the agenda. We ask that you read out your name and address for our official record, and we also ask that you keep your comments to no more than 5 minutes. Is there anybody that wishes to address the council under citizen participation this evening?
Good evening. My name is, I feel this in, right? I'll do it when I'm done.
Sure, that's fine.
My name is Deborah Morin. My address is 2345 South 75th Street. And I'm here again for this meeting to talk about elections. And I really appreciate, after I addressed the Common Council in December, at how seriously you're taking your responsibility in this area. There's 3 items on elections on your agenda for tonight, and I was really happy to see that. One is for discussion on the polling places, which is a really important thing, and the establishment of the polling places. And the reason I'm hoping that you will look at some of these things is that we need to make sure that the election process reflects the statutes, that the law and the process are coupled together. And sometimes that's not the case. And so as you look at polling places, I would ask you to remember statute 6.84, where the legislature finds that voting is a constitutional right, but absentee voting is actually a privilege. It's not a constitutional right. So to keep that in mind when one of your agenda items is talking about a central count location. And I don't know if you've gotten material. I know I brought it up in December about the cost it is to the city to run a central count as opposed to processing absentee ballots like we've traditionally done in polling places. I didn't see anything in the materials, but maybe you were able to receive something like that type of information. So that was one of the agenda items, and then the discussion of the polling places. But number 12 on your agenda was concerning to me because of the fact that the law states that people that we refer to as poll workers are really election officials, the election inspectors, and if you look through the law, you'll never find the word poll worker. There's no such thing as a poll worker. They're called election officials, and they're called election inspectors. And they are actually appointed by you, an elected governing body, to a 2-year term of office. They hold a public office, and they take an oath of office. And according to 7.30, they are exclusively in charge of conducting elections. They conduct elections. They don't assist the clerk in running elections. So with that in mind, I found it a little problematic to look at your pay rates, and not so much what the rates were going up, I think that's wonderful, but that the clerk would be able to authorize additional pay for election inspectors meeting performance metrics established by the city clerk. That might be a little bit of a problem if you look at election inspectors as holding a public office and conducting elections. There might be an ethics issue, a propriety issue, that you're paying someone who's conducting elections differently than you're paying the other people that are conducting the elections, and the metrics are established by the clerk. So it's not established by the statutes, it's not established by a governing body, it's established by an unelected worker for a municipality. So that's listed on item 12 3 times. And then the only other problem is in that same item on your agenda, and it says that there will be a full-time work on election day, $350 per full-time day of work, full day of work on election day, as the chief inspector of the location canvassing absentee ballots under statute 7.52. I may have missed something in the statutes, but my understanding is that there is no position of chief inspector in a central count location. The governing body of a central count location or an absentee ballot canvass is an absentee ballot canvassing board. A chief inspector is in charge of a polling place on election day. There's no chief inspector position, as far as I understand, and you might want to check with your legal counsel on that, that there is not a position of chief inspector for the canvassing board itself, according to 7.52, the one that's quoted in here. So those are some of the things. So I just wanted to say I'm happy to see that you're taking the time to look at elections and seriously making sure that they are mirrored in the statutes. And I'm looking forward to the discussion on the number of polling places that we may be able to have here in West Dallas for people to exercise their constitutional right to vote. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else that wishes to address the council under citizen participation this evening? Okay, seeing none, we will close citizen participation and move on to item F. Our standing committees will be meeting during recess. The room numbers are listed on the bottom of page 1 of the agendas. Moving on to item G, the mayor's report. One quick thing I wanted to mention was January 2nd was actually the date of the 50th anniversary of one of the long-standing iconic dining locations in the city of West Dallas, and that is Filippo's, which is most recently located on about 70th, 69th, and Lincoln. They were originally on, I believe, 76th and Beecher. But I stopped by last Friday to present them with a proclamation and congratulate them on not only being in the community for 50 years, but just adapting to all the changes over the past year and a half and continuing to provide incredible food and employment opportunities for people in our community, and just thanking them for being such a good part of our dining scene, good part of our community. They do so much, but they want to stay so far beneath the radar. They never want credit. He didn't even want to be in any of the pictures, but we had to use one we kind of took candidly because he's just that low key and is not about the limelight, but just about working hard and providing a great meal to the people that walk into his restaurant. So I want to congratulate Filippo's. I was going to touch on the downtown events next week, but I might ask if Alderman Weigel was going to mention those because I don't have heavy details on them. I know there's a soup crawl and Wednesday, and there are events all week. We're not well versed, but we do know that it is on the Downtown West Dallas social media page and on the city's website, and they have winter-themed events going on all next week, and they have quite a few things to just don't let the cold get you down and get out and embrace winter and enjoy it. So that does conclude the mayor's report this evening. Moving to item H, do we have any reports from the alderpersons?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Weigel.
as long as you start us on the restaurant topic, and I'm going to have to think that Filippo's is in the longest-standing restaurant in our community at 50 years. A new restaurant did open in the downtown area on Greenfield Avenue just this past week. Macoco's. It's their address is 7420 West Greenfield. It's got a very focused menu. It's hard to describe it as it's not Mexican, it's not Caribbean. They do air-fried chicken and kind of daiquiri kind of smoothie drinks. They describe themselves as very family-friendly. I can tell you, I had the chicken as a carry-out for dinner on Saturday, and it was delicious. I believe their plans are to be open 7 days a week. I don't think they have that firmed up yet, but they are open for business. I think they're probably open right now if you want to run over there. Well, after this meeting, because you're all sticking around for this meeting. So I just want to welcome a new business to the downtown.
Thank you, Alderman Weigel. Are there any other alderpersons' reports?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move for approval of the minutes of December 14th, 2021 Common Council meeting.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any changes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, the minutes are approved. Moving to item J, standing committee reports, we have none, so we will move to item K.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
if there's no objection from any member of the council, I would move for approval of the consent agenda as printed.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there any objection? Okay, the rules are suspended, the motion is in front of us. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Ayes have it, the motion carries. And we'll move on to item L.
Mayor Devine, I move that we stand in recess until conclusion of the committee meetings.
There's a motion and a second by Alderperson Reinke. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are in recess.